Hi, this is Legion, and this is UGC.
Well, we were trying to come up with a name for our group for a really long time because there isn't, usually like all the big YouTube groups we saw had names. And so and they had like cool ones too. I remember we had our first big knockdown, drag out argument, or it wasn't really an argument, but just like an upset discussion was when we were trying to choose a name for our group. And this was about 2.5 years before you, maybe like two years before you. You weren't involved. But
I'm gonna go pro this year.
We're like, I don't even remember some of the names we threw out, but we eventually didn't agree on a name. And then in the description of our videos, we would say, like, here, our crew. And then the comments would be like, oh, this is KYR Speedy and his crew, this is the Luxor and his crew, and then it just became the crew. Because that's basically our indecisiveness at its best, to not choose anything.
Hey, nice kicks.
We met our good friend. I was the last one to come into the group, and then we started growing for a while. Got up to around 100K. I don't know if I'd quit my job at the point that we met you, but we were in a random Black Ops 2 lobby. You were doing some voices.
Yeah, which you took claim for initially, which was the funniest
part.
Yeah.
Speedy was like, "Who's doing those voices?" I was like, "That was me."
That's me. And I was like,
well, I was doing a weird voice, but and then you like did more weird voices.
Yeah. Batman and Bane. That's how I came into the picture. So I got disconnected from my brother and like 4 other guys I was playing with randomly, and came back and just decided I was just going to continue playing because the match had already started. And I'm an XP whore, right? So like I have to keep playing for it. At least I was at that point. And I started doing like impersonations, and then they randomly were like, "Hey, you know who we are?" And I was like, "No, I don't, and I don't care." And they're like, "Well, do you want to play with us?" I was like, "Hey, you guys seem pretty funny." And they're like, "Hey, we're gonna put you in a video." I was like, "All right." They're like, "Hey,
whatever that means.
Just want to let you know, like, are you cool with it?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And they're like, "Because you're gonna like, it's gonna blow up. You're gonna blow up like tonight." And I was like, "All right, whatever." And I woke up with like 400 inbox messages the next day.
This was during a period where we were really exploding, and that was for a while because I put some of his stuff on my channel. It was on Speedy's channel and probably a few other channels, and that was like the last, and that was probably one of the last scenarios where we could really bring someone into the group where he had no idea who we were, which is the perfect scenario. There's no worry, there's no concerns about if he had any ulterior motives. So
I wanted to have sex with all of them, though.
That's an ulterior motive.
An ulterior motive.
Or just roll the dice.
What the fuck is this? Jerking off 2 guys.
All right, well, I was actually working at Best Buy, and it was probably 6 months after I met these guys, and I started getting phone calls, like prank calls to the store where people were asking for Legion, and the general manager at my store was like, who is Legion who is this kid, and why are we getting phone calls for him? But then I had one kid come in and found me and fanboyed and freaked out so hard that I was actually a Best Buy employee and not some weird gimmick, that I was like, okay, I think I might be doing something a little bit bigger than like playing video games in my bedroom. Yeah. It's not really any bigger, but the fact that some kid was excited to see me in my fat body in a polo, I was like, oh, okay, this is weird and fun at the same time. But yeah.
Yeah, I never got recognized at work because I worked at like 5 a.m. so no one really saw me driving around in the truck. But I remember going to PAX East in 2013, and I remember that was our first time that I met like my friends Speedy and Jehovah and Shadow Beats, and that was kind of our first time hanging out in person, and that was a cool experience. But we didn't really know any like what we were gonna do together. We didn't have any plans at the event or anything, and there was we saw some other YouTubers that we were growing to be the same size of, and they had a bunch of people around them and all that stuff. And then a year later, when we were all at the event, all of us had over 1 million subscribers, and Speedy had, it was this year, so like a 5 million around that time, 4 million, whatever. And it was the opposite scenario where we had people all around us, and we had a bunch of things to do. And signing autographs that's kind of a weird experience for like, I sit in my home and do video game stuff. So it was very surreal and a very just when I think about it, I think of how opposite that scenario was.
I think PAX, was the settling point, because having one person recognize you is really cool in like your local community.
Yeah, but it's just one.
We showed up and we were like, all right, we're gonna do a fan meeting, like fan sign, like we have no idea how this is gonna turn out. And then we had like 150 kids one day, and then it just was like the same. I mean, it was
the
just
feeling
absurd.
of getting mobbed by people it is a very absurd thing because we don't. Yeah, it's if I've gotten recognized maybe like 30, 40 times in public or whatever, and it's usually like one person, and then everyone around them is like, who is this person? Because we don't really break into the general community,
especially because it's not our names. It's your alias.
Why are you calling him that?
Legiqn, nobody. And you're like, nobody? Like what?
Yeah.
He's the Queen of Legion of England? What? I'm sorry. All right, well.
I'm talking too much.
I'm fat. Semester had just ended, and I was like really excited because I was going to start getting my streaming game a little bit more. And just exactly, like just streams, waterfalls. My back is a little wet, just kidding.
So wet.
I'm actually good. Actually, I did get jizz on, sprinkled on a little bit just now. But we get set up for this, and all of a sudden I'm playing one morning, I get a phone call at like 2 in the morning, and it goes for an hour straight. And I'm like, this is really inconvenient because I'm trying to play, and I get kicked offline. So I call him because as soon as I get offline, the kid is continuously calling my home phone. And all of a sudden I see that my email has been compromised. And then he's just the same kid's tweeting at me, and he's like, I'm gonna find you, I know where you live, I know your info, like I know your address. I just assume he talks like this because all hackers are gremlins except the good ones. We believe in good hackers. Just want to say that. Hold on.
Take it in.
And I call him, and he's like, oh yeah, here's what you do. 14-step verification on everything. Disconnect everything, get out of our group Skype chat because we don't want to compromise anything. And I ended up getting everything taken care of. But he made like $2 grand worth of purchases on my Time Warner cable account, and like had hacked into my emails, and I mean, we got rid of him, but I don't know, it sucks.
Yeah, we've all had scenarios happen to us where we've had things compromised before, and it's just, I guess that's the cost of doing business on the internet. It's weird when you think about it. It's like a separate world. Like I'm not trying to get too deep about this, like, oh, it's this whole beautiful place, but it's very that you meet people anonymously on the internet, and you have to be really careful of things. We have to make sure all of our security stuff's in check. I've had a couple of things taken from me, and you just learn from those experiences, and you learn how to better protect yourself, and it's something that happens to all of us that we think about. So oh yes, my God damn it! Well, my big goal was to hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube because that's the big round number. And then when I hit that, and I'm still kind of in this period, you kind of feel like in a state of not really sure what you're supposed to do next. I'd like to just keep collecting people to my social media accounts that like what I do, to turn that into, I'm interested in writing, I'm interested in, we have a website on the side, any type of general entertainment stuff. That's kind of what I'm interested in. I think not having a goal is kind of cool, but kind of just general things you want to try.
Sweet.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
I want to collect people as well, Joel. That's what I want to do. I want to build the biggest collection of people ever, and I want all holographic
I keep
and
them
rare
in my
cards.
basement.
Because the more people you have to watch your stuff, the easier it is to transition from one thing to the next. So
Yeah.
he wants to write, like I like writing. I mean, that's actually what I'm going to school for. I've got like 1 more year left, but in terms of going from YouTube, like what's going to happen afterwards, I mean, I guess if some offer happens with TV or something like that, then I'd take it. But hosting shows would be cool, but I like being a personality. I love you too, man. I like your glasses. Thanks. I tried to match. It's fruity, but I tried.
Those help him see.